Good morning, dear students. So today we will discuss about some examples of centripetal forces in our daily life. We know that Earth revolves around the Sun in a circular path. A stone tied with a string and one side and other end with a finger, when we rotate, also moves in a circular path. And moreover, in our daily life, when we are taking a turn while riding bicycle or bike or car, while there is a U-turn, it also, isn't it? It moves in a circular path, isn't it? In an arc. For all these, we all know that centripetal force is necessary. But the question arises is that what is the source, origin of the centripetal forces? Because as we all know that there is no smoke without fire, means everything has a reason. Okay, anything cannot happen without some reason. So what is the reason of the the revolution of the earth around sun, moon around earth, or electron around nucleuses? Now this is because of the gravitational forces between the earth and the sun, isn't it? The gravitational force between the earth and the sun provides the necessary centripetal force for the earth to revolve around the sun. Same thing is applicable in case of moon also. The gravitational force between moon and earth provides the necessary centripetal force for moon to rotate in circular path. Again, the same gravitational force between the nucleus and the electron compels the electron to move in circular path. These are all about the gravitational forces. But in case of rotation of a stone in a circular path, what do we get? The centripetal force. This is because of the tension of the string, isn't it? Which also arrives from due to the weight of the stone or the object. Clear? Because when the string breaks, isn't it? Centripetal force absent and it moves along the tangent due to centripetal force. So since tension is absent, centripetal force is 0. So because this tension supplies the necessary centripetal force. But while taking the U-turn, we all know that those who know riding cycle or motorcycle, while taking the turn, we generally slightly lean inward. So since we are taking slightly an arc, which also a part of circular path, we also need a centripetal force. But here there is no tension, no gravitational force. So what do we get? The centripetal force. Now this centripetal force or necessary centripetal force is supplied by the friction between the tire and the road, isn't it? So here we will discuss all the conditions, that is while turning of car or bicycle on road, isn't it? But also we have seen, isn't it? This is in case of general road, when generally automobiles or vehicles of not comparatively huge mass, isn't it? Are generally taking turn. Bicycle, car is not as a huge mass, isn't it? So while taking the U-turn, what happens in this case? While taking U-turn, generally we apply a reactional force, and if this reactional force which causes for our walking, isn't it, or anything else. So if we resolve this reactional force into two components, we get two components, a vertical component and one horizontal component. So this vertical component, isn't it, maintain the weight, isn't it? It balances the weight. Balancing weight is balanced, so no problem with the weight. It balances with weight. Whereas this horizontal force, or this horizontal component provides the necessary centripetal force for taking U-turn for car or bicycle. But in case of huge vehicles, just like train, we may have seen, or in some roads, in huge tracks, isn't it? Some roads are generally leaning down, isn't it, in the inward, sloping down in the inward like this, isn't it? Because, or in railway banking, isn't it? Those who have the experience to cross the Khana junction, isn't it? Okay, so during up journey, isn't it? If you have executed your journey, you will be able to see that during up journey the train generally takes, isn't it, in the banking path, isn't it? During up journey, it doesn't take that banking path, it moves through other path. But while executing during journey in the up journey, so it will take through Khana junction. There is a railway banking. While executing this, okay, those who have the experience, who have executed the journey from Bardhaman to Polpur or Rampur, that is in the up. So you may have seen that generally the train is generally slightly, isn't it? More, not slightly, is lined, is inclined, isn't it? Once in the left side and next on the two sides. It means one in one side, once in one side, and then on the other side. More, isn't it? Is inclined down in the inner side. This is called railway banking. Now what is the reason? Now because in the general road, when we ride the bicycle, the roads are level. So only friction between the tire and the road is enough to supply the necessary centripetal force for taking U-turn. But in case of a huge vehicle like train or anything else, it's a huge weight, isn't it? Immense weight. So only friction between the tire and the rail, or the wheel and the rail, or the rail line is not ample to give the necessary centripetal force. So that's why in these cases, isn't it? It is really sloping down inward. The inner rail, isn't it? The inner rail is slightly down, whereas the outer rail is slightly uppish. In that case, what happens? So the automatically rings inside. If the roads are level, it may overturn. The outer rails generally raised up and it may overturn it, and it may cause and it may lead to fatal accident. To avoid this accident, generally rails are generally like this, isn't it? Is constructed like this. Inner line is generally sloped down and the outer. So when it comes to the track, automatically it leans. It don't need to take any, isn't it? It don't need to do any extra effort. So automatically leans. So the vertical component, this vertical component balances its weight, whereas the horizontal component gives the necessary centripetal force. So here it doesn't depend on, it don't need to depend on the frictional force, because here the frictional force between the wheel and the rail is not enough. It is not enough, it is very less. For a huge vehicle of having huge mass like train, this friction is not necessary. So that's why this system is generally done. It is called railway banking, isn't it? So what happens in this case? Now if the train or the vehicle wants to move with higher velocity, isn't it? It may overturn. So in this case, frictional force acts in the inward direction and supplies the necessary centripetal force to take U-turn. If it moves with a very lesser velocity, it also may turn over in the inward direction. But in this case, frictional force acts in the outward direction and it supplies the necessary centripetal force for maintaining the turning effect. Clear? Avoiding any accident. So now we will find out, suppose while taking a turn with your bicycle, suppose you are riding a bicycle or a car or any bike on a road, and suddenly, okay, you meet with a turn and you need to turn. So in that case, what will be the minimum, the required angle and the required velocity and the required radius. Okay, what will be the maximum velocity? Okay, what will be the minimum radius? So suppose while riding cycle, isn't it? When we take a U-turn or car, isn't it? We generally incline inward like this. So it means inclinedly, isn't it? Slantly we applied a reaction force. Generally, we apply reactional force during chapter friction. I already showed. We generally apply a force in this direction on the road, isn't it? When we walk with our heel, we generally exert a force slantly towards the ground, and it also exerts an equal and opposite reactional force. I already explained during discussion in chapter friction. Okay, why is it easier to walk on a rough road, but is it difficult to walk on ice? So this reactional force we can resolve in two components, isn't it? One is vertical component or sin theta. Now here, if this resultant reaction makes an angle theta with horizontal, mind it, two conditions. One is with vertical surface and one is horizontal surface. First case, let us assume this reactional force acts, makes an angle theta with vertical component. So in this case, its horizontal component is very easy, r cos theta, based by hypotenuse, no need to say. So horizontal component is r cos theta. It provides the necessary centripetal force since it is acting towards the center, isn't it? Whereas the vertical component r sin theta balances the difficulties, balances the weight, it tackles with weight, isn't it? Weight is a problem always. So here we can write r cos theta is equal to mv square by r, since it is supplying necessary centripetal force for taking turn in arc, whereas r sin theta is equal to mg, giving name the equation 1 and 2. If we divide equation 2 by 1, you can see clearly r sin theta by r cos theta, mg by mv square by r, cross rg by v square. So this is a necessary condition. Very important questions. Very important question. So many times, numerous times it generally comes in the exam. Conditions are generally given. Suppose, then prove that while taking a turn, the necessary condition when the reaction force makes an angle theta with the horizontal, prove that the necessary condition is tan theta is equal to rg by v square. Clear? For not to slide down, for not to slide over, isn't it? Or turning over, isn't it? Or not to fall down whatsoever. This is the required condition. But now, if the reaction makes an angle theta with the vertical, so in that case, it turns into r sin theta, and it turns into r cos theta. If we look from this side, now this is base, this is height, this is perpendicular. So in this case, now opposite. Now you can see the r cos theta balances the weight. Now theta is the angle with the horizontal, with the vertical component. Now r cos theta is equal to mg, which balances the weight. Now r sin theta is providing necessary centripetal force. That is r sin theta is equal to mv square by r. Again, if we divide, we get v square by rg, just reciprocal. So now in this condition, the required condition is tan theta is equal to v square by rg. Clear? Most of the students generally do a very common mistake. They don't see whether the theta is with vertical or component, isn't it? Sometimes it's given with horizontal, they prove this, they generally write like this, and when the theta is with vertical, sometimes students write this. So very careful while you have to notice the angle theta is with which plane, either it is horizontal or vertical. If theta is with horizontal surface, tan theta is equal to rg by v square is at the denominator. If the angle is with vertical surface or vertical component, v square is at the numerator. Now what will be the maximum velocity in such case? With which if we exceed that velocity, skid, the cycle or the vehicle skid, and it may turn over. So since, as I said, the frictional force gives the necessary centripetal force, so our frictional force we have already looked at Fs, that is sliding friction or kinetic friction, since it is on in the state of motion, it is not at rest. So F is equal to mu s r is equal to mg. So this frictional force supplies the necessary centripetal force. It has to be greater since it is supplying. It is the parent and it is the daughter. Parent nucleus, daughter nuclei. Parent cannot be younger or lesser than that of daughter. So that's why it always has to be greater. So mu s mg greater than equal to mv square by r. Cancelling m cancel. So v maximum square is less than equals to mu s rg. So this is the maximum velocity with which someone who is riding bicycle or car and taking U-turn, at that moment taking U-turn, this is the maximum velocity while taking turn. If the velocity exceeds this value, skid, skidding, and it will turn over. Now since it's taking a U-turn and it's making an arc, that is circular path, so obviously there will be a radius. So what will be the minimum radius of the circular path? It means what will be the minimum circumference, what will be the area of the circle. Now if we want to take turn by sliding straight, isn't it? So it will make a greater, it means in that case radius will be greater. And if we slide down and if we slightly inward, so it will make a circle. But what will be the minimum radius? More we will incline, lesser will be radius. But it also has some, isn't it? If we want, during taking turn, if we don't incline, if we want to take turn by keeping a body straight, we may turn over. And if we incline more, it also may lead to turn over inward. In the first case, we may turn over in the outer surface, but if we incline more, It means if we more inclined, then also, because also there is a probability to turn over inward, okay, towards the center, that is radius of curvature. So what is the value of this minimum radius? Again, mv square by r equals to, we can get the value of radius from same expression, that is mv square by r equals to mu s mg, same. So r minimum is equal to v square by mu s g. More we will incline towards, lesser will be radius, isn't it? Because if we, it means the circle will be smaller, and if we incline less, but if we want to straight, then it will be greater radius, greater circle. So it means more we incline inward, lesser will be minimum, but it has a limit. So what is the limit? R minimum v square by mu s g. If we further incline more, again scale, the friction will be so less in that case, because in absence of the frictional force, because in that case, since frictional force is key, crucial, vital, it is supplying, it is the reservoir, it is supplying the necessary centripetal force. In the case, if velocity is maximum, in that case, both in these cases, if the velocity exceeds this value during taking time, in that case, frictional force generally reduces, and in that case, it cannot supply the necessary centripetal force for taking U-turn. It also applicable true in this case also. If we incline more and if we take radius less than this, so also in that case, the frictional force is not capable to provide sufficient centripetal force. Clear? Now in the two cases, in these two cases, following condition 1, what is the value of tan theta? Rg by v max square, putting the value of v max square is equal to mu s rg 1 by mu. That is reciprocal of coefficient of friction. Whereas in condition 2, we can put the value mu s. This is directly added value 2, that is coefficient of friction, isn't it? All these are very, very important. One example there is also I forgot to mention, that is while taking turn, the aeroplane, isn't it? Aeroplane while taking turn, it also inclined, isn't it? In the inward, isn't it? It generally makes the flying like this, its wings in the inward direction. Same reason, just like railway banking, isn't it? The vertical component balances the weight of the aeroplane, whereas during incline, the horizontal component gives the necessary centripetal force for taking turn. Clear?